is WC3PO, Channel 10A in Cincinnati, Ohio. Please stand by for a message from Mr. Silas Whowood.
I'm speaking to you not from our studio, but from the 49th floor observation deck of the Crew Tower building, where our studio resides. It's near dawn and I can see the horizon moving from inky blue to shades of pink. I can faintly see the city below as it sits in pooled darkness. Almost all is still on this Christmas morning. The occasional Cincinnati Central subway train can be heard whooshing by on its way. An auto, here and there, trying its luck on an icy street. Not many people are walking on the streets. Even the homeless get to stay in the shelter all day. It's Christmas after all. As you can imagine, it's very cold up here. Yet this is where I come to get my best view of things in the world, any time of year. 2 years ago this day, I began WC3PO with playlist programming from the YouTube transmission system and the Pandora music casting service. We hope you, our audience, have found our choices entertaining and informative. I want to tell you how this all got started. Well, ladies and gentlemen, WC3PO announcer and my staff producer, Francine Trudeau, is signaling me with a message from our studio. Please stand by. Yes, Miss Trudeau, go ahead.
Mr. Whowood, due to the weather, we are getting some interference with our signal. Perhaps you should come in.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, the wind is really picking up here at dawn. The readouts from the Xenoglaux weather lab show the winds are approaching gusts of 40 miles an hour.
Well...
Please, Mr. Whowood, I think the audience will be better able to hear you.
I think you're right. Besides, I wouldn't want my best fedora to blow away. It was made by the great Gus Miller down at Masaki's hat shop. I just wanted people to know what it is like today, this Christmas day in Cincinnati. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a brief intermission. We will join you again momentarily from our studio.
All right, Mr. Whowood, we're back.
Almost 3 years ago now, I arrived back here in Cincinnati after being overseas for 4 years. The 4 years away took me to many places. To the war in Columbia, Babylon, and Columbia, Kabul, for instance. You might remember my reports on Clearvox News embedded with our forces in the trenches. I was also inside the Governor Protectorate's office in Baghdad. I saw the horrors of this present war firsthand. After a while, it seemed too absurd to act like it was all a glorious battle for freedom and American honor. So, I committed career suicide right in prime time on Vox News. But I had to tell the truth. The hideous truth of what's going on over there.
Though our military tries valiantly to hold the enemy at bay, they just seem to keep coming and coming. I don't know how it all end over there. Well, after being fired by Vox News, I came home struggling to make sense of it all, struggling to put meaning back into my life. Not long after being back in Cincinnati, I received a mysterious phone call from the lawyer of the late Ida Crosley. Ida was the last surviving member of the Crosley family that helped build our little tri-kingdom on the Ohio River. Which of us who live in Cincinnati can forget growing up with that large neon Z in the middle of the sign spelling out the Crosley name on the factory roof? Seems as though Ida Crosley thought my journalistic swan dive was a patriotic act. So much so that she left me what were the remains of the Crosley communications machine, the studio here in Crew Tower that is WC3PO, Channel 10A, and another facility, the Xenoglaux Design Bureau. Under the terms of the estate, I cannot reveal the location of the Xenoglaux Design Bureau. However, I can say that the Crosley brothers, known for their inventive prowess, did more than we ever imagined for our city, the Tri-Kingdom, and our nation. After sitting abandoned since the 1980s, I found the Crosley assets to be in decay and disrepair. I wasn't even sure I wanted them. After much thought and prayer, though, I decided that perhaps I could do something with it all. That maybe I could make a difference in the world. That my life could have meaning. Or perhaps I could just entertain you a little bit, all of you out there on the Electronet. Either way, I Hope you've enjoyed our programming the last 2 years. I want to thank our 23 viewing subscribers, 12 friends, and over 3,000 viewers of WC3PO Channel 10A, and the listeners to the Pandora Music Casting Service. While outside, the great Queen City on the Ohio River continues to struggle as the world continues to struggle with the war, economic depression, and the survival of our society. It may seem that all the cold and gray holds us back from being happy on this day, but it's just weather. It's what lies in the human heart that can hold us back. We, poor sinners, allow ourselves to be held by the fear of what will happen tomorrow. The agents of fear in the world spread their contagion without compunction. Will you let them spoil Christmas Day? Will you let them? And will you let them spoil tomorrow and the new year to come? For they'll be ready to pit us one against the other, to take our faith, our beliefs, our morality, our humanity. That's not how it has to be. I urge you now to go out onto your front porch, your balcony, roll down the window of your vehicle. Have no fear of the cold. Have no fear of what tomorrow may bring. Cry out, Merry Christmas, and then spread that hope and joy that comes in those 2 words to your family, your friends, and most of all, to total strangers.
Mr. Whowood, we're running short on YouTube transmission time.
Thank you, Miss Trudeau. 2 years ago, the first playlist programming from WC3PO was from the 1968 spaceflight of Apollo 8. The crew sent back Christmas greetings to Earth by reading from the Holy Bible. In that spirit, I read to you this Christmas Day from the book of John, chapter 1, to remind you we are not alone in fighting the darkness. It reads, In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. And now, from WC3PO, Channel 10A, we wish you a Merry Christmas. To all of you on the good earth. Goodbye.
This ends our first transmission of original programming from our studio in Cincinnati, Ohio. WC3PO thanks you for tuning in.